Hello, I'm Gavin, your CEO here at the Iowa Association with your 2024 President Shaner. We're here to talk about some of the issues going on, obviously, regarding the settlement and what we're doing in the state of Iowa. And obviously, we've got this email down below that will encapsulate all of this. So if you don't have time to listen to us, read down below. But Shaner, it's been a busy few weeks for us here at the Iowa Association of Realtors. We've talked to almost 1,000 members in the last week. But why don't you tell briefly what's gone on with our town hall, broker town hall, all that?
Yeah. So obviously, there's a lot of moving parts with all of this, and essentially, since March 15th, we've been in, full trying to capture what we can mode, if you want to call it that. Just answering questions from members and so forth. As you said, we had several town hall meetings a couple of weeks ago. One that was focused on the AEs, one was on the brokers, one was on the general membership, and like you said, we reached over 1,000 of our members with that. Tried our best to answer the questions people have, but there's just so much out there. We are working on putting together what we're calling a task force of stakeholders, not just realtors, but also people in the financial industry, settlement companies, attorneys, and that kind of thing, to really break down the best practices kind of stuff that is what really people are looking for.
And that's been a big piece of it. I know, obviously, you hear the details of the settlement and you see these pieces that we have to put in place, which we'll talk about just in a second, a couple of those items. But the task force is really going to drill down the practical uses. And we constantly hear this from members is, well, tell me practically how this is going to affect me. And there's a great opportunity at summer meetings as well for them to attend something that will kind of break down some of this for them.
Yeah, so the task force is meeting on May 21st. We're basically going to be here at the IAR building all day with that group of people, just really, like you said, drilling down into those specific issues that people need to know. And then at summer meetings, June 11th, we're going to have a 2-hour free class that basically will be unveiling those best practices that group is going to be working on. Now, we realize that even at that point on June 11th, that group of people will probably still have questions. There'll still be issues that come up. But we're going to just keep working through this, and that'll be kind of our first stab at, okay, here's how you need to do these things once July 1 hits.
And obviously these classes, we've got ABR classes, we've got this class at summer meetings. We're going to be doing many more of these as the year goes on. So if you can't make that one, don't stress. We'll have plenty more opportunities to talk about this. And we're kind of under that July timeframe. Mid-July is what we're understanding. So many MLSs are making new rule changes. You'll see that over the coming months. So your local MLSs are tackling this. But one other item was the governor signed a couple pieces of legislation for us this last week, and if you want to just briefly hit those highlights of what those
are. we were kind of ahead of the game in regard to buyer agreements. For example, the Real Estate Transparency Act was a bill that we pushed forward this year in the session that essentially will require agents to have, not just realtors, but any licensee will have to have a signed buyer agreement between themselves and their buyers before they even show a house. To really spell out what that relationship is, and now with the settlement proposal, what the compensation is going to look like, whether it's the seller doing cooperative compensation or some other mix of that. So we were ahead of the game on that, so that'll go into effect July 1. The governor's signed that piece of legislation. The other piece, not related to this, but also a good piece of legislation, is related to wholesalers, which now that will be, not to go into detail about what wholesaling is, but that will be now a requirement that anybody that does wholesaling in the state of Iowa has to either have a license or work with a licensee to make that a legal process.
Absolutely. And obviously we look at these issues. That issue is more proactive. The buyer's agreement was a little reactionary. It was something we were going to be forced to do regardless. So I wanted to make that clear that this is not something that we had a whole lot of choice in, but we were ahead of the game in the sense that we're not playing behind the eight ball now trying to do it retroactively and be behind the eight ball, just not ahead of it. So with all that coming up, members are worried. This is a resource, right? This is at the end of the day what we're putting forward, and we're trying to be a resource to them. So obviously we're fully available at all times to give us a call, shoot us an email. You see our emails come out once a week. We're trying to keep you updated. We know these are challenging times, and we just want to make sure you're best prepared to do your job every day. Any other thoughts for the members in general right now as they tackle these
I
issues?
would just say that, and I said this at our all member town hall meeting, and I probably should say it every time we have any kind of video or meeting like this, is I need the members to know that the staff have been incredible in this process. I mean, literally almost everybody, maybe I could say everybody on staff, has jumped in and done whatever they need to do to get us through this and to make sure that the members can still do their jobs and still work in the industry and try to create as little hiccups as possible. So kudos to all of you guys for doing that.
Appreciate it, and we're blessed to work with obviously great leaders like Shaner and many of the people you've seen on these roadshow tours. Obviously, they're all volunteers, not big dollars being paid to any of them, and they're doing the job just like you are every day. So really appreciate everything Shaner's done to lead our organization through these challenging times, and we'll continue to keep you updated with the latest and up-to-date information with what's going on. Appreciate you.
Thank you.